Hey, this is Troy from Now.With.Troy with another Workflow Wednesday. Didn't do it live this morning, and so just doing a recording. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is a quote that's come to mind, and maybe you've heard it, likely you've heard it, or else I'm just showing my age, dating myself. What get managed gets done, or really, if I go back to the original from Peter Drucker, what gets measured gets managed. And the key is, so oftentimes that quote is used to justify we need more KPIs. I have to have this data and drive it. And it misses the mark. And where I think that comes from is if you've not heard of or been exposed to Peter Drucker, he is often pointed back, it's starting the whole field of consulting. And one of the things that if you start, kind of digesting more and more things that came out of the brilliant mind of Peter Drucker is really his broad inquisitiveness. He was very, very curious, and he helped his clients really ask those key questions. One of the things that he's attributed to is helping organizations stay, who are your customers? What business are you in? If you weren't in that business today, would you go into it now? If not, why not? That sometimes just because we're in a business today doesn't mean we should be in it tomorrow. And because we're not in one today, maybe we should be tomorrow. It's asking those very inquisitive questions, drawing back to what should be measured. And that's what really drove, that inquisitiveness, that thinking, that creative thinking of what problem are we solving in the world, and how do we do it better. And so having a solid why, right? Simon Sinek, why, start with why, could often be tracked back to Drucker's focus on, what is the business that we're in? What should we be doing? How should we be improving it? And looking at that to generate those key performance indicators, those KPIs that we want to track. Now, as part of ServiceNow, you can see over my shoulder, the world works with ServiceNow. ServiceNow is and has been since its inception when Fred Letty created the Glide system, is really a platform that's flexible, that can adapt, that can be extended with this relational database underneath it, with high security and high speed and scalability and all of that. But it's really a platform that can be the trusted system for action, right? Who needs to take this piece of work and move it to the next step? Who needs to be involved in reviewing and approving or rejecting work in the system? Those two capabilities really create the system of action that is ServiceNow. And where that fits with, you go back to Drucker of what gets measured gets managed and what gets measured gets done, helps us really look at what is the business that we're in, how are our customers interacting with us in this new digitized world, and what kind of support do they want from a customer side. And then inside, what are the different processes that, perhaps right now they're lost in an email chain. I email this shared inbox and things happen, but often they don't. ServiceNow can become that system of record or system of action for that work and for those approvals. Once those are in, we can also start looking at process improvement. We can look at where things are taking more time. We can also look at other enterprise BI tools and say, what information do we have? What things do we say are critical to serving our customers, critical to serving our employees, and how do we improve them? With ServiceNow, there are lots of ways to improve that capability, but also with a product that we call Impact, give us ability to look at those key business objectives. What are the key things to help drive your organization through this economic climate that we're in, through this digital transformation we've seen, where how business to businesses interact, how consumers to business interact has changed significantly. ServiceNow gives us a platform to transform that. With Impact, we have an Impact Squad, 4 people that are looking at your key business objectives together, helping you understand how ServiceNow, as that control tower for the enterprise, can help drive improvements. That transformation, really looking at the system of action inside of ServiceNow And then how can we measure it? What are those things that we should measure so they can get done? As Drucker said, if you kind of dig into his thinking behind that quote, he doesn't want more plans, doesn't recommend more roadmaps. They're key. But what Drucker would say is, instead of planning, do. As we think and ask those questions and we put those business objectives together, what are the next steps? If we stick with impact, if we jump in and say, what are the next actions that our team is going to be taking? Where are they at? How do we collaborate on it? And how do we track the results so that as we do these different steps, are they having an impact on those things we said we were going to measure? That's a key part of impact, but it also leverages some base fundamental capabilities of ServiceNow, looking at tasks and approvals, but also continuous improvement. That as we find ways that we can transform, yes, the ITSM processes, or the employee experience as you work with HR and all the workflows that go with it through different transitions in life, or if on the customer side, there's so many different processes that ServiceNow is helping our organizations improve. With that mindset from Drucker, ask those inquisitive questions. Just because we did a process yesterday, should we be doing it today? If we're doing it today, is that the best way to do it? Is it the most efficient for those that are receiving the service? Or is it also the most efficient way to deliver that service? With machine learning and artificial intelligence, there's so many ways that I put it, we can respond without fingers on a keyboard. Looking at driving that continuous improvement is a way to keep up with that technology gap that we're seeing. Innovation is happening and change is accelerating. When people say change is constant, I always push back and say that's just not true. Change is accelerating. And with change accelerating all around us, any way that we can find technology that can help minimize that gap between where we're at and where all this innovation is driving the transformation ahead of us, that's important. And ServiceNow can be a key enabler to that. If you want to hear more, I'm easy to find on LinkedIn or other places. Reach out. Love talking about it. The whole idea behind Now.With.Troy is talking about what's happening right now in the business world. Digital transformation, supply chain, pressures from hackers and everything else. Love talking about that. Reach out if you want to chat. But I also like talking about ServiceNow and what's happening on the Now platform. And so Now.With.Troy talks about those two things. I hope you enjoy these. Comment, subscribe on YouTube, and let me know if there's additional topics that you'd like to talk about. But I look forward to talking with you, connecting you with people inside of ServiceNow that can help you think through how ServiceNow can help with your digital transformation, and identifying, as Drucker would say, what gets measured gets managed, because what gets measured gets done. And let's see that action taking place. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Bye-bye.